Hello and welcome. I am your host, Andrew Schaefer. I am a teacher at Spanish Springs High School with Washoe County School District. Today we are going to be looking at how to associate a textbook with your class on ALEKS. So once you've logged into ALEKS and you're in your class, and you do need to do this for every class you have, you can go, you'll see your class here. I'm in an empty class, so we don't have any students in here right now. You go up here to class administration. It's going to drop down and you're going to see class summary here. If you click on class summary, this is going to load the page that summarizes all the settings for the class. Most of these are, all of these are populated by default when the district creates the classes for us. So, and there's a lot of ways you can, a lot of settings you can kind of change and do that. Today we're going to talk about the textbook, which is down here. If you scroll down, it's under the class content. And by default, when the district sets these up, the textbook is in A. There's no textbook selected. Okay. If you want to associate the class with the textbook, click our edit button here. It's going to ask you to take you to this page here. Do you want to integrate a textbook? You just hit no, which is what we have right now, or yes, integrate the textbook. And then we have this drop down that will let us choose our textbook. So for geometry in Washoe County School District, again, that's our Glencoe Geometry, McGraw-Hill 2018. So we can select that one. It verifies the information here, and we can leave this everything else the same and hit continue. The major change this is going to do is when we go in to make assignments and we set up homework or tests and things, the topics that we can choose from are going to be aligned to the chapters. So it's a lot easier to find questions that light up to the chapter we're currently on. So you can see again, by default, it selects 551 topics out of the 890 available topics, and you can drill down in here to see what they are. So they're by, again, chapter in the book, and then by lesson. And so we can see we have all of these are access, and these are all the ones our students will be prompted to learn and do. So if you have if you'd like, you can just leave the default settings. If you know you're going through and you're not going to cover some material in, say, chapter 3, say 3.5, drawing lines of symmetry, for some reason you've decided you're not going to cover that, or that's not going to be material you want to test or have your students low, no, you can uncheck that whole lesson, or you can uncheck just particular parts of it. Okay. So you say you want to keep identifying transformations that map a quadrilateral onto itself, but you don't want to do it for regular polygons, just quadrilaterals. Again, you can choose that particular item, and now you'll see I've unselected one, so we have 550 topics selected. If I check them all, again, we're back to 551. So in general, unless you have very specific things you want to get rid of, in general, I will just keep them all. This lines everything up to our book, and we'll hit save. All right, and that's going to save our changes. If we scroll back down now, we're back to that class summary page. If we scroll back down, we're going to see our textbook under class content is Glencoe Geometry McGraw-Hill, right? And the class content is 551 topics. That's related to our textbook. If at the same time, if you have an associated textbook and you decide you don't want that, you just want to go back to the regular default settings, again, we can go in here and edit, and we can remove that textbook. And so simply to remove that textbook, select no, do not integrate textbook. Continue. Okay. It's going to go back to the default 524 topics that ALEKS selects as part of the high school geometry standards. And so again, you can see for each of these which ones are being selected, and you could add or remove other ones. Again, if the folder is unchecked, then you need to go into that folder to see which parts of that section are actually checked. It doesn't mean the entire thing is not being used. Just certain sections are not being used. By default, again, if you just want to keep it to the default, go ahead and save 524 topics. And then it brings us back to the class summary where you can see again, now we have textbook in A, so we no longer have a textbook associated, and we have 524 topics. So again, by selecting that textbook, we do get a few more topics, and they're topics that line up with the topics taught in the book. So again, they'll line up by section. When we're going to choose assignments and homework, we can find them based on the actual chapter and the lesson, and that will make it easier to find the related content rather than trying to guess which topics actually apply to this chapter. All right, that's everything for, again, going into your class, setting your textbook inside ALEKS. Again, you do need to do this for each class. So each of your classes you have, you need to drop down and select each class. Go into, again, class administration, class summary. That brings you to this page, and you need to go in and edit the class content to select the appropriate textbook. All right, thank you for watching. Once again, my name is Andrew Schaefer. I am a teacher at Spanish Springs High School, Washoe County School District. If you have any questions related to ALEKS on this video or anything else, please feel free to reach out to me. My email address is andrew.schaefer@washoeschools.net. That's ANDREW.SCHAEFER@washoeschools.net. All right, thank you.